What is up, guys? Welcome back. G here, back with another video. Now we have a lot to cover today. If you clicked on this video, you probably want to know what's the latest with DraftKings. Well, don't worry, today I will share the latest news. I have two important announcements that came out today, a few recent SEC filings, and lastly, I will also take a look at the chart for some technical analysis. So make sure to watch through the end because we have a lot to cover. Before I start, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. It really helps this get out to other investors, and consider subscribing to the channel if you guys want more videos like this. With that out of the way, let's get started with today's video. So the first big announcement was an analyst upgrade from Morgan Stanley. Now these guys are highly regarded as one of the better analysts, at least in my opinion, so I usually pay attention to what they have to say. They pointed out today that DraftKings is too good of an opportunity to ignore. DraftKings ended up trading as high as 18% based on this bullish call from the Morgan analyst. Now we also did have Jerome Powell speaking, so that did affect some of the price action. We ended up closing around 5.2% at the end of the day, which was at $20.33. So that did definitely affect the price action for the day, but this can continue later into the week, and I'll show you guys why in just a bit. One of the things that the Morgan analysts pointed out is that the broader market hasn't really favored the gaming stocks in 2022, but he thinks DraftKings is one of the best positioned companies in the industry with growth potential. So it is one that you should not ignore, since DraftKings is a leading market share player in what will be a very large profitable market. They also upgraded it from an equal weight to overweight and maintained their price target of $31. I think that is about 60% from where we're trading at now. And then also note that DraftKings will report its Q4 earnings on February 18th. So that will be a very huge earnings because it's going to give us a better idea of how they're managing their money. That is one of the biggest concerns when investing in DraftKings. So that is going to be a very key thing. This analyst upgrade from Morgan Stanley comes after a massive week in New York. New York placed over 600 million worth of bets in less than 2 full weeks. Now we have covered most of this in one of our last videos, but they mentioned that because they did increase their 2025 forecast from 19 billion to 21 billion, and that's because of the success in New York in the first 8 days. They also saw much stronger than expected results in a few different states, so that was their big reason they increased their projections from 19 billion to 21 billion. Since we are investing in a high growth company, DraftKings is obviously not going to achieve profitability soon. Needham and Company's Bernie state we don't have DraftKings achieving profitability until 2024. All these new state launches are a new market. They'll have to go in like New York and invest a lot of money and acquire new customers and hope those improve given the data last year. So one of the reasons that they do burn so much cash is because they do a lot of promotional deals. That is part of their cost equation. DraftKings hands out free wagers via promotional deals to attract gamblers and also pay state taxes on revenues. So those are two things that really affect their margins, which goes back why it will take them a lot longer for them to be profitable. The last thing from this article is that they restated how huge of an opportunity this industry can be. Kelly, whose firm predicts DraftKings will turn profitability in 2025, believes the company is well positioned amid growing betting handles nationwide and potential industry innovation. I think what you're looking at is the start of a new age of fan interactivity, and I think digital companies like DraftKings and FanDuel will be leading the fan interactivity and fan engagement. Then she goes on to stating how compelling the DraftKings and FanDuel platforms are compared to the competition, and then she compares our industry compared to the UK and states that we are about 15 years behind, so this can be a huge industry. One other thing that Kelly mentioned is that DraftKings can move to more of an immersed multimedia approach, where bettors can interact with their television and track all their wagers all in one platform. So this is actually something that Fubo TV is working on. That is another company that I'm investing in. So them stating this kind of backs up Fubo's business model. So there definitely is an opportunity for Fubo as well. And so that'll be an area that DraftKings can work into as well. Not to mention that DraftKings has their own NFT marketplace. So I think they kind of partnered up with Tom Brady and they're selling autographed NFTs. But I did do a separate video on that a while ago, so go through the channel and check that out. But they're actually working to bring gamified NFTs, so that'll be something to definitely look forward to and give DraftKings another stream of revenue with more profitability. So as you know, DraftKings is expected to release their fourth quarter earnings in their year-end 2021 results. That'll be on February 18th, so a very big day to look forward to. They're definitely going to discuss their Q4 results, but they might even give an update on some of their expansion plans as they go into new states and try to get new states on board. And maybe we also do get an update on the Golden Nugget acquisition, because that is still kind of in the air. We haven't really got much details on that. So those will be a few different things that I'll definitely be looking forward to. And I also will be looking at how they're spending their cash, because that has been an issue in the previous earnings. And since we'll be taking a look at some of their expenses, one thing that I will be looking at is their promotional spending. I found this in an article to give us a better idea of what to expect as far as promotional spending. So Draftkings is the number 2 sporting bet in PA. It has about 25% of all bets placed online, right behind FanDuel, which is the top spot at 35% market share. But something that Morgan Stanley pointed out is that their Draftkings has been able to rationalize promotional spending in Pennsylvania better than some of those other competitors while maintaining the market share. So in November 2019, when Draftkings launched, it was spending about 48% of its gross revenue on promotions, which was well above the market's 31%. And then in 2020, Draftkings outspent the promotion as well, doing a 39% versus the market average of 30%. But it does get better. In 2021, Draftkings lowered its promotional spending to 27% of the revenue, while the rest of the market actually increased their promotional spending to 33%. And so Draftkings was able to maintain 18% of the market share, which is actually the second highest in the market, while reducing their promotional spending to 27%. So you can see that they are improving some of their metrics as far as some of the spending that they're doing. Obviously, it's still a pretty high percentage, but they are coming down to some of the market average. And so in my opinion, as long as they maintain around the market average, that is fine, because this is going to be an expensive market to compete in. And so if you're investing in Draftkings, that'll just be something you have to live with in the short term. Alright guys, now I want to share with you some of the SEC filings from this week. The most important ones are from January 25th. As you can see, there was a statement of changes in beneficial ownership of securities. And so I did post some of these on the community post if you guys want to go take a look at those. But you can also find these on Draftkings Investor Relationships. But the main thing from these SEC filings is that some of the officers and even the CEO, Jason Robbins, did acquire some shares. Jason Robbins acquired over 11,500 shares, and you can go through the rest of these SEC forms. I'm just going to go quickly through these. You can see Kalish Matthew acquired 6,200 shares. Jason Park, the Chief Financial Officer, acquired 4,600 shares. Paul Lieberman acquired 6,200 shares as well. Then Stanton Dodge, the Chief Legal Officer, acquired over 4,000 shares as well. And so from the SEC form, you can see that these shares were acquired on January 23rd. So that actually happened when Draftkings was still trading around $20 to $22. Not exactly sure the reason for the transaction, so I'll have to look into that. But in my opinion, it might be because they are bullish on the company and think this is a fair price to get a bigger stake in the company. But you guys take a look at the SEC forms on your free time. Just wanted to bring those to your attention and show you guys that even the management team is bullish on Draftkings. The last thing I wanted to share with you guys is this article, and this was actually posted after trading hours today. Draftkings mobile sportsbooks is set to launch Friday in Louisiana. If you guys remember the last announcement when they announced the launch in New York, the stock ran up huge. So there could be a similar catalyst on Friday, maybe even starting tomorrow. So this could definitely affect the price action tomorrow. But we'll take a look at the chart in just a second. Just want to go through a little bit of what was announced. Following the opening of a new retail sportsbook in Louisiana alongside the Golden Nugget, they're going to expand their relationship when they launch their mobile sports betting app to the customers in Louisiana state. So that's going to start on Friday, January 28th. Louisiana becomes the 17th state to offer Draftkings online sportsbook, and Draftkings is now live in 18 states, including retail-only jurisdictions. They'll have several professional franchises, so tons of opportunity in Louisiana for them to engage with. Matt Kalish, co-founder and president of Draftkings, said that there has been several Draftkings developments in Louisiana. They have the daily fantasy products and retail sportsbook, and now this latest online sportsbook launch, which is going to be another significant milestone. So now residents of Louisiana have a lot more opportunity to engage with Draftkings. That equals more revenue for Draftkings. Louisiana bettors previously were able to place bets in person at the Golden Nugget Casino, but now with the mobile betting, this greatly enhances accessibility and adoption potential within the Pelican state. So pretty self-explanatory. Now they have more ways to attract a customer. Previously, they could only go to Golden Nugget, so sometimes even though they wanted to place a bet, maybe they didn't want to drive or they didn't have the time. But now with them having the mobile app, this is definitely going to increase the betting activity, which in the end gives Draftkings more revenue. So just a few things from Louisiana. The retail sportsbook launched in November of 2021, and some of the most hottest NFL teams that have been the most popular among local bettors are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs, and Los Angeles Rams. And if you guys watch football, you guys know that the Los Angeles Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs are still in the race to the Super Bowl. So this is going to attract a lot of betting, and especially now with the mobile betting, this is definitely going to increase the betting activity since these two teams are still competing and are some of the more popular ones in Louisiana. So I think this is great news, guys, and like I said, this was posted after trading hours, so there could be some movement in the price action tomorrow. I didn't see this in the news section of some of the brokerages, so DraftKings could post this tomorrow and we could see some positive moves. Like last time they announced the New York expansion, although that was a bigger state, but this can still positively affect the price. We'll just have to wait and see tomorrow. So now I want to take a look at the chart, guys, give you guys an idea of where we could be headed. We are trading at $20.33. We are up 5% for the day. We did have a high of $22.82 with a low of $20.17. So we are trading near the low of the day, but we did have really good volume. You can see we had 90 million volume shares traded, and so that far exceeds our average volume of 32 million. This here is the weekly chart. I don't really use this one much, but I wanted to use it since we do have a lot of trading history. Wanted to show you guys that we did bounce off this nice monthly support here. You guys can take a look down here. We bounced off and we did sell underneath, but we got bought up right back up. And so now let's take a look at a smaller time frame and get a better idea of where we can go. So this is the 1 hour chart, guys, and you can see we did gap up, and that is because the Morgan Stanley upgrade that definitely affected the price action for the day. It was a very bullish article and a nice upgrade for DraftKings. You can see from the price action we ran all the way up to our weekly level, which is actually at $22.80. From there we were not able to break through our weekly, and so that actually rejected us back. Once Jerome Powell started speaking, the entire market took a hit and we actually started selling a lot faster. We ended up closing around $20.33. Zooming in down into the chart, it looks like we might end up filling this gap here down to about $19.60. So in the short term, I do expect a little bit more downside just until we completely fill this gap. But if the markets are strong, then we could just partially fill it and we could bounce off this nice support here at $20.20. That is a strong support, so we could bounce off of this level as well, since it does look like more buyers are starting to step in. For example, down here we had a nice demand zone. We have another one here and people just seem to be buying up the shares. My biggest fear though is the overall market conditions. Jerome speaking was not very bullish today, so that can definitely bring us down to this level again. But it does look like we were up after hours, so we'll just have to take a look at the futures and see how those are performing. I do want to leave you guys with one bullish indicator. This is on the daily. You can see this candle right here is a doji candle, and so this usually can indicate a sign of a reversal, especially if you open up higher the next day. You can see the price range for this day was pretty wide. The buyers ran it all the way up to $20.20, and then the sellers at one point brought it back all the way down to about $18.50. And so it was just a battle between bears and bulls, and we ended up closing pretty indecisive. And then the next day you can see that the bulls stepped in and bought this up pretty high, and then unfortunately the bears brought it back down. But I think some of that has to do with Jerome Powell speaking. That was just another reason that the shorts could step in. In my opinion, the main thing to watch from a daily perspective is to make sure we stay above $20. That is kind of a psychological level. If we do break this range, then we will probably come back down to this range back here, which is around $18.50. So we definitely don't want that. Hopefully the news that I shared with you today does help bring in some positive sentiment into the stock, since we do have the AFC and the NFC championships this week, and so football's going to be exciting all weekend. But we do have our work cut out for us. As you can see, we got driven really hard down towards the end of the day. As far as the chart, if we can hold this $20 range and get back above this next resistance here around $22, $23, then we could start reversing back up to $27. The main thing to also watch would be this descending resistance here, so watch that. If we can break above the weekly here and this resistance around this level here, then we can definitely start an uptrend back to $25, $27. At some point, if we get to this intersection and we fail to break through, we will come back down to about this level here. So those will be a few different things to watch for. You guys let me know in the comments what you guys see in the chart. So guys, that was just a quick video on what actually happened today with DraftKings. We had a massive day as far as volume, price action. We did have some great news come out and some after the trading hours, so that could affect tomorrow. Also make sure to watch those key levels of support and resistance. I hope you guys learned something from today's video. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys want more videos like this. You guys have a great day, and as always, keep moving forward.